Finally, I think it's not raining. Is it raining? I don't know. But after the last week, it's like just I'm pretty amazed that it isn't raining here, or in Sydney at least. And I'm not even in Sydney. I'm actually in Frog Recruitment's Auckland office. So right here on the floor of the Auckland team. So if you hear some noise going on in the background, it's because they're busily filling jobs. And if you're looking for a job or an opportunity in New Zealand, Frog Recruitment is People to People's sister company. Hi there, my name is Mark Smith. I'm Group Managing Director of People to People in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. And this is P2P Live. Always 12:30 on a Friday on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And we can see your comments in the comments live. So if you've got any questions during the broadcast, then please let me know. There's a lot to talk about today. I thought because I'm in the Auckland office, we'd take a little bit of a look at consumer confidence, compare that between Australia and New Zealand, and just have a think about that cross-Tasman transfer of talent. So we'll be exploring that in the numbers. We've got 3 jobs that we need to fill today. Today, you can start work on Monday. We've got a particular permanent opportunity in a mailroom from our Melbourne team. So stay tuned for that. And we had a webinar for job seekers in Melbourne last week. So we've got a snippet of that webinar. So that if you're looking for a job or you're thinking about a move between cities and Melbourne's on your list, stay tuned for that particular snippet of information as well. And of course, we've got the Twitter poll. So a lot to do. Let's jump into this week's numbers. So the numbers this week were focused really around consumer confidence. So what we're looking at here is the latest consumer confidence numbers and it came in at about 86 points this time round. And I thought I would show the historical comparison of consumer confidence in Australia. So you can see way back to 2013 and how basically steady had it been right up until around the end of 2019 when things start to get a little bit wobbly, and then the collapse in confidence for the pandemic and the remarkable rebound. The interesting thing now is that we're in this situation where consumer confidence is now at its lowest ebb for at least the last 6 years. And you're probably thinking, well, what does that mean for jobs and employment? Well, at the moment, what we're experiencing is still a talent shortage. But I think that's exasperated by the fact that consumer confidence is down. If consumer confidence is down, people are less likely to want to change jobs. So therefore, if you're an employer out there and you can't find staff, and man, I flew from Sydney to Auckland this week, they need some staff at the airport, then people are not willing to take a change, or they're not willing to change jobs. And with unemployment at low levels, there's just not an availability of staff. So this consumer confidence number, I think, will translate into an even tighter market for talent. I thought I'd also, because I'm in New Zealand, show you the comparative number for New Zealand. If you wanted to move to the next slide, please. And this is from Sharon Zollner from ANZ. She's the economist at ANZ here in New Zealand. So this is consumer confidence from the ANZ and Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence Index. And it's the dark blue line that we need to look at here for New Zealand. And although we could see that we were in low territory for Australia, here in New Zealand, you can see that consumer confidence is at recessionary levels, and it's actually lower than where it was in the 1993 recession, the famous one, in Australia at least, which was the one that we had to have. I've been visiting clients here in New Zealand over the last couple of days, and I think the most interesting thing here is that clients or companies are still looking to hire. There's still a staff shortage. They need to bring people on board. There's a net migration out of New Zealand at the moment, just as there is in Australia. So it's still tight for labour. But with consumer confidence at these levels, I would expect that it's still very hard to find people because they're not willing to take a change. And the sort of response that you get is then this type of tweet. So if you move to the next tweet, for me. There we go. So this is Sharon Zollner, who's the economist I was talking about at ANZ. And she's basically just said, not helpful, frankly, which is showing the Australian Job Vacancy Index from last week, where we are at historically high levels. So basically the sentiment here in New Zealand is that Kiwis might jump on a plane and go to Australia and secure work there. It's something that they're quite worried about and will exasperate the talent shortage here across the Tasman. But really in Australia, we're in a similar situation as well. So very interesting numbers. And I thought it was particularly interesting to make the comparison to New Zealand. So we've got 3 jobs that we need to fill today. To get us there, though, we've got a permanent opportunity for mailroom supervisor in Melbourne. So we've got a video from one of our team in the Melbourne office. Let's watch that, and then we'll come back to Fill Job Friday.
Hi there, my name is Amy Burton. I'm from P2People's Melbourne team. Thank you for expressing interest in this mailroom team leader vacancy. We are recruiting on behalf of a very well-known law firm in Australia's legal industry. They have a reputation for their inclusive and supportive culture, whilst also winning industry awards for their work in gender equality and diversity. The main responsibility of this position is supervising the clerks in their mailroom. To be successful in this role, we are looking for candidates who have proven experience in the mailroom and feel confident in their ability to train and supervise others. Please read the advert for further information and give me a call if you have any questions.
Do you need work to start on Monday? We've got 3 jobs we need to fill for Monday. They're around the country. The first one, Milton, Queensland, $33 an hour. It's reporting to the Chief Development Manager, and you're part of the commercial team for this particular organisation. To be successful in this role, this sales admin role, you've got to have an admin certification. You've got to be able to thrive in a fast-paced environment and have some of that admin skills. Nicolea Price is the consultant in our Queensland team. 07318 311 80125. Give her a call. You can also see the links to these particular jobs in the comments. You can apply now right there. Here's the next one. And it is an EA role on Sydney's northern beaches in Belrose, $49 to $50 an hour. Your duties include document preparation, correspondence, and you need to have some, you've got to have some, you'll be looking after extensive diary and travel management. You'll be supporting senior executives in a large organisation. You must have done this before. Brooke Mackay is the consultant in our Sydney team. 82709780 is the number to get in touch with Brooke. We'll just hit apply in the comments right now. Here's the last one. And it is another role in Sydney, a service coordinator in St Leonard's. The role is initially service-based, reporting on Excel and data entry and admin, some invoice management, customer service when it's really busy. And you also might even have to get into picking and packing boxes for medical devices if required. This is a very successful business. It's a business that I know has been nominated as an Employer of the Year a couple of times. The best person for you to contact is Maddie Liang from our Sydney team on 82709706, and you can start work on Monday. It's competitive salary on that. So here are the 3 jobs. It is sales admin based in Queensland, an executive assistant on Sydney's northern beaches with Brooke Mackay, and a service coordinator with Maddie Liang in our Sydney team. Now, you're probably thinking, am I on a bus? How do I apply for these jobs? Well, we use Vply at People to People. That means that you can apply with a video. So you could be sitting there right now at home watching TV. You use Vply, you can leave us a video, then we can get back to you, and you could start work on Monday. Okay, all right. We've now got this fantastic snippet of information about seeking a job in Melbourne. It was from a webinar. If you're interested in watching the whole webinar, you can get that from our website. We'll put a link in the comments there for you. But let's now enjoy a few minutes of some hot tips on seeking a job in Melbourne from last week.
Thank you, Liz. My name is Kathy Derbyshire and I'm a permanent recruitment consultant and specialise in business support, property sales and customer service. Today, I will be talking to you about updating your CV in 2022, and I will be covering what to include in your CV and some useful tips. So what is a CV? A curriculum vitae is Latin for course of life. It is a detailed document which summarises your career history, qualifications, education and skills, and it is an opportunity to demonstrate what you can offer an employer. You can showcase your achievements and also influence the employer or recruiter to interview with you. A cover letter is a document submitted with your CV to strengthen your application and express your enthusiasm about working for an organisation. It is important to emphasise your achievements and why you are the right candidate for the role. A cover letter may not be necessary for all job applications, and some job ads will specify if a cover letter is required. So what to include in your CV? We'll start with page 1. So on page 1, you will want to include your full name and contact details with a minimum of 2 forms of contact, so both a phone number and an email address. Also ensure that you include your suburbs. So this is particularly helpful for recruiters, as we can often, refer other positions that we have available, which may be in your local area. You will also want to include a link to your LinkedIn profile. So recruiters or hiring managers will Google your name or search for your profile on social media anyway, and a LinkedIn profile can depict you in a professional light and definitely strengthen your application. I would advise to create one if you haven't already, and ensure that it is up to date and that the roles that you have listed and dates are aligned with your CV as well. Also on page 1, you will want to include a professional summary. So this is a short introduction to your CV, and it can be a few sentences long, outlining what you specialise in, your years of experience, what you can offer, and what you are looking for in your next position. Finally, on the first page, I would recommend including a career summary. So this can be presented in bullet points, outlining your positions, companies, and dates of employment. Having this information on the first page allows a recruiter or hiring manager to understand the industries that you have worked in without scrolling through the entire document to find out. We'll move on to page 2 and onwards. So on page 2, you will be including information about your work experience. So it's important to note your key responsibilities in each role and your key achievements. So an example of a key achievement could be that you were the top performing sales agent in your organisation, and highlighting your key achievements allows a recruiter to sell your profile to a hiring manager. Next, you will want to include your education and qualifications. For example, if you have a tertiary education or completed any certificates, I would then go on to list your skills. So ensure that they are relevant to the position, and you can include skills including communication, time management, teamwork, attention to detail, or organisational skills. Finally, you can include your referees, and if you don't feel comfortable listing them on your CV at an application stage of the process, you can always write referees available on request and then disclose that information at a later stage. Please note that People2People will always request your permission before conducting any reference checks, even if they are listed. Some additional sections to include on your CV, you can include any internships or apprenticeships that you have completed. You can include any endorsements. For example, if you have a previous manager who has provided a quote about your work ethic, and you can include any volunteer work and extracurricular activities. For example, if you're involved in any community groups or sports, and team sports can highlight to an employer that you're able to work well in a team environment, and it also demonstrates the personal side to your profile. And if you do come from a background within marketing or digital, you may also want to include a link to your portfolio. So my useful tips for today, my first tip for you is on tailoring your CV. So you will want to use keywords and phrases that are relevant for the role that you're applying for, and note any relevant skills, experience, education that is aligned with that role and the organisation. If you are applying for multiple positions, ensure that you have created multiple versions of your CV. For example, if you're applying for an EA role and a customer service role, one CV should highlight your admin and secretarial experience, whilst the other one should highlight your customer service skills. My second tip is on formatting. So firstly, use a font which is easy to read. For example, Calibri and Arial. You don't want to use any cursive writing that is difficult for the reader. I would also recommend using bullet points over paragraphs and to use headings throughout your CV. When listing your work and education history, ensure to list this in reverse chronological order. So you want your most recent experience at the top of your CV. Keep it concise. Your CV isn't an essay and should be at maximum 4 to 5 pages long. You may choose to also include a photo. Now, this is entirely optional. Some candidates would prefer not to, but if you are using a photo, ensure that the photo, that you have selected depicts you in the best light or professional manner. So use a professional headshot, or you can have a friend take a photo for you against a wall or with the background blurred, but keep it corporate and natural and don't use any filters or special effects. If you do have a background in marketing or design, you can showcase your skills and present your CV in a stylish but polished manner. And it goes without saying, but ensure that you have checked for spelling and grammar, and you can consider having a friend check over your CV for you. And this is particularly important if you're applying for a role where written communication is needed. Finally, when you save the document, I would recommend saving it in both a Word doc and a PDF format. And some job ads will specify what format is required, therefore it's handy to have both. My third tip is on using keywords, and we spoke briefly about keywords earlier, but I just wanted to give you some context. Keywords are important for recruiters or hiring managers when searching databases. So keywords can include skills, industry, or software programs. For example, if you've used Salesforce or Xero, and keywords can be used if you speak multiple languages. For example, if a recruiter is looking for someone who can speak Mandarin, they would search the word Mandarin on their database. Finally, use keywords that relate to any duties that you're responsible for, which may be niche. For example, if you're working in an accounting firm and you're responsible for ATO and ASIC lodgements, then include the terms ATO and ASIC in your responsibilities. My fourth and final tip is on listing temporary roles. It is important to mark down roles as temporary or contract, as hiring managers may question you why you were in a role for a short period of time or why you appear to be jumpy. And a tip is to use the heading temporary roles and then list the roles, organisations and dates underneath that heading. If you have been working on temporary roles with one organisation, for example, if you've been working with people to people, then include people to people recruitment as your heading, and then you can note all of your assignments below that. I would also advise you to include what the contract was for example, if it was a maternity leave contract, and also note if the contract was extended. Overall, your CV is a tool which you can use to showcase your skills and experience and stand out to employers. A recruiter or hiring manager may only glance over your CV before moving on, so ensure that you have put your best foot forward.
Righto. If you're looking for a job in Melbourne, just jump onto our website. You can look up Melbourne. You can get in touch with the team down there, and hopefully they'll be able to secure you a role. One more thing to do today, and that is to have a look at the Twitter poll. Here's the results of last week. And for those looking to change jobs in 22, what is the main reason for wanting to leave? Well, you know what? At least 40% of you said that it's because I'm bloody stressed. I'm really stressed here at the moment. That's why I'm looking for a change. But a solid third of those who responded said that it's because they're not being paid enough. And my advice to anybody who believes they're not being paid enough, don't go into the market looking for a pay rise. Ask your boss first. If your boss doesn't give you a pay rise, jump into the market and we'll be able to get you a new job. Yeah. So, and then 20% said that there's a lack of career development there as well. So really interesting results there, very similar to our New Zealand office from where I am here with Frog Recruitment as well. Here's this week's poll, and that is, has the increase in the cost of petrol and the cost of living, and man, has petrol gone up $2.20 or something now? And when the in September when the tax goes back up again, wow, that's going to make a difference. Is this changing your job search habits? Is this making you want to go out and find another job, or the reverse? Yes, it has. No, it hasn't. At People to People is where you can vote. Vote on Twitter and on LinkedIn. We'd love to have your opinion, and we'll release the results next week. Okay, that's it, everybody. Thanks again for joining us on a Friday afternoon. Don't forget, Oz Top Dog, New Zealand Top Dog is the equivalent across the ditch here in September. So a little bit of advertising for that as well. And I'll see you again 12:30 Friday afternoon next week.